India has issued an advisory for Indian nationals and students in Canada. The country has urged them to exercise caution and be vigilant. It has also warned its citizens in India against travelling to Canada. This comes after the Canadian government updated its travel advisory. Earlier today, Canada advised its citizens to avoid all travel to India's Jammu and Kashmir, citing security reasons. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that he is not trying to provoke the Indian government. However, he says he is seeking answers over India's alleged involvement in the murder of pro-Khalistan leader Haydee Singh Niger. India has denied Canada's allegations, calling them absurd. In India, protests broke out in the northern city of Jammu. The protest leader said Justin Trudeau is trying to shore up political support among Sikhs in Canada by blaming India for the murder. Meanwhile, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said he has discussed the row with Trudeau. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russia is trying to manipulate global food supplies to create shortages. He also accused Russia of kidnapping Ukrainian children and also genocide in the country. Zelensky said all of this during an address at the annual UN General Assembly. A report says Ukrainian special services were likely behind a series of drone strikes in Sudan. They were conducted against a militia backed by Russia's Wagner Group. The report says that the operation was the work of a quote-unquote non-Sudanese military. The operation involved a series of attacks on the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group. The RSF is believed to be receiving assistance from Wagner in its fight against the Sudanese army. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has said that he is seeking to re-establish constitutional order in Niger. This is to address political and economic problems in the neighboring country. Tinubu is chairman of the West African bloc ECOWAS. ECOWAS has been trying to negotiate with the Niger military junta. The group has said it is ready to deploy troops to restore constitutional order if diplomatic efforts fail. More than 1,200 children have died of suspected measles and malnutrition in Sudan's refugee camps. This is according to the United Nations. Rather, UNICEF, a UN agency, it said that it is worried that many thousands of newborns are at the risk of death. Meanwhile, the WHO has said that about 70 to 80% of hospitals in Sudan's conflict-hit states are now out of service. Hundreds of protesters gathered outside a government building in Armenia. They were protesting against the violence in Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenian police used stun grenades to disperse them. Several people were injured during scuffles, while some protesters were also detained. Earlier, Azerbaijan sent troops backed by artillery strikes into the Armenian-dominated Nagorno-Karabakh region. This raised the threat of a new war with its neighbor Armenia. Reports say Houthi rebel negotiators from Yemen left Riyadh after 5 days of talks with Saudi officials. The talks were about a potential agreement that could pave the way to end the conflict in Yemen. Progress has reportedly been made on some of the main sticking points between the Houthis and Saudi Arabia. 2 Palestinians have been killed and at least 10 have been wounded in the city of Jenin. This was during clashes with the Israeli forces in West Bank. The Israeli military said a drone had struck Jenin but did not confirm the casualties. Opponents of the Iranian regime gathered outside the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday. They expressed their dismay over the regime's presence at the annual summit. Some protesters focused on Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi's political past in their demonstrations. One of the protesters said, and I quote, "He is a criminal and he should not have a seat in the United Nations." Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said she will call for international help. This is over her country's migration crisis. Meloni is due to speak to the UN General Assembly on this topic on Thursday. She has described the crisis as an issue akin to the barbarity of slavery. Almost 130,000 migrants have arrived in Italy so far this year. This is nearly double the figure for the same period in 2022. US President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, will plead not guilty to federal gun charges. Last week, Hunter Biden was criminally charged for allegedly making false statements while purchasing a gun. He was also accused of possessing a firearm at a time when he was still using illegal drugs. The new charges came after a deal between the prosecutors and Hunter Biden collapsed in the month of July. The International Criminal Court has disclosed a hacking incident. The ICC says it detected unusual activity on its computer network at the end of last week. However, a spokesperson declined to comment on the seriousness of the hack, if it's been resolved, or who might be behind it. This marks a breach at one of the world's most high-profile international institutions. The ICC is the Permanent War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague. It was established in 2002 to try war crimes and crimes against humanity. In climate, leaders from all across the world met for the opening day of the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit at the United Nations. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres delivered the opening remarks, and he called upon countries to switch to renewable energy. The World Health Organization has said that floods, wildfires, drought and extreme weather are driving a global health crisis. This crisis needs to be tackled with climate action. While speaking at a climate meet in New York, WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said that melting ice caps and rising sea levels are crucial issues but are distant threats. He added that the problem of changing climate is right here. Peruvian President Dina Boluarte has proposed the creation of an international pact to tackle the effects of the El Niño weather phenomenon. She made the statement while speaking to the world leaders gathered at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Boluarte called for increased collaboration to ease the effects of the weather phenomenon. Peru's central bank earlier said that the El Niño effect is a risk to the local economy and inflation. Pakistan's caretaker Prime Minister has called upon rich countries to fulfill their financial pledges to fight climate change. The interim Prime Minister made the comments while addressing a United Nations summit on SDG or Sustainable Development Goals. He said that developed nations must fulfill their pledge to provide $100 billion annually in climate finance. Scientists say that climate change made the heavy rainfall that led to deadly floods in Libya up to 50 times more likely. The powerful storm caused 2 dams to break. Libya's eastern city of Derna was inundated and thousands of people were killed. Scientists have warned that climate change pushes weather to new extremes. Australia is on high alert as it prepares for a summer bushfire threat. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service is hoping to destroy any fuel that a bushfire could consume. 4 years ago, Australia witnessed deadly bushfires and at least 33 people were killed. Swaths of land in southeastern Australia were destroyed. Weather experts say that Australia is yet to witness its hottest and driest period. They have termed this phenomenon Black Summer. Extreme plankton bloom in Thailand is threatening marine life and fisheries. Water in Thailand's Chonburi province has become dense and slimy. It smells of grass and dead fish. Marine animals like fish and whales eat plankton. However, in large amounts, it becomes toxic. Scientists are exploring its potential links to climate change and weather patterns like El Niño. Now on to business and tech news. American automaker Ford has dodged a second walkout in Canada. The auto giant has reached a deal with the union there. They, as in the union, had threatened to strike if a deal wasn't reached by Tuesday midnight. However, Ford still faces the ongoing strikes in the US city of Detroit. Last week, America's United Auto Workers Union called the first ever coordinated action at the Detroit 3 automakers. Detroit 3 represents Ford, General Motors and Stellantis. The Asian Development Bank says that economic growth in developing Asia this year will be slightly lower than previously expected. This is because of China's weak property sector and risks due to the El Nino weather phenomenon. The ADB trimmed its 2023 growth forecast for developing Asia to 4.7% from 4.8% earlier. A full, lengthy shutdown of the US government is quote-unquote likely at the end of this month. This is according to analysts at investment management company PIMCO. The current funding for most US government programs expires on the 30th of September. If lawmakers are unable to pass a new budget by then, large swaths of government functions would shut down. Argentina's economy shrank 4.9% in the second quarter of this year. This marks the first time the country's growth was in the red since 2020. Argentina's agricultural sector registered the highest drop. It declined 40.2% compared to the same period the previous year. Walt Disney is boosting spending on its theme parks as it faces challenges elsewhere. The company has said it will nearly double its capital expenditure for the parks business to about $60 billion. It will do so over the next 10 years, and this comes as the firm sees losses in the Disney Plus streaming business. Some workers within Amazon's hardware division say their morale is going down. This is amid staff cutbacks and a pipeline of devices in development. The division is responsible for making devices like the Kindle Reader and Echo voice assistant. It has lately been plagued by mass layoffs and key executive departures. The US Department of Justice is investigating Tesla. It's looking into the personal benefits that Tesla may have provided to its CEO Elon Musk since 2017. Officials have reportedly requested information about transactions between Tesla and entities connected to Elon Musk. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's SpaceX has countersued the US government. This is over an older lawsuit that was brought by the US against the space company. The US had accused Elon Musk's firm of refusing to hire refugees, thus violating the US Constitution. In its new lawsuit, SpaceX argues that the judges hearing the older case have not been appointed fairly. Elon Musk's brain chip company Neuralink will begin human trials of its brain implant for paralysis patients. The company says it has received approvals from an independent review board in the US to carry out the tests. Musk says Neuralink aims to treat several conditions, including obesity, autism, depression, and schizophrenia. Britain has urged Meta platforms to not roll out end-to-end encryption on Instagram and Facebook Messenger. The UK says this is to help protect children from sexual abuse. The country's Home Secretary Suella Braverman said she supported strong encryption for online users. However, she said it could not come at the expense of children's safety. Moving to sports, in cricket, grounds will have more grass and will have bigger boundaries for the upcoming One-Day International World Cup. The International Cricket Council, or ICC, has advised World Cup hosts India to make the adjustments due to the expectation of heavy dew. Damp fields give an advantage to teams that bat second. Cricket venues in northern and central India receive heavy dew during October and November. Indian pacer Mohammad Siraj has claimed the #1 spot in the one-day international rankings. Siraj jumped 8 spots after his spectacular performance against Sri Lanka in the Asia Cup finals. During his spell, Mohammad Siraj took 6 wickets for just 21 runs in the 7 overs that he bowled. New Zealand pacer Tim Southee will undergo surgery on a fractured thumb. The speedster injured his right thumb against England last week. Tim Southee is likely to be fit for the World Cup opener against England, which is on the 5th of October. In football, Spain's women's national team has forced protesting players to rejoin the team. They were threatened with sanctions by Spain's Football Federation. Players Aitana Bonmati and Alexia Putellas were seen at a practice session after threatening to boycott earlier. However, protests in Spain continue after the World Cup kissing controversy. Manchester City beat Crvena Zvezda 3-1 in their UEFA Champions League group stage match. Osman Bukhari scored in the 45th minute, giving Crvena Zvezda an early lead. Man City came back in the second half as Julian Alvarez scored twice in the 47th and 60th minute. Rodri netted another goal for the Sky Blues in the 73rd minute to seal the victory. However, Man City's midfielder Bernardo Silva got injured during the game, and he now joins 4 other injured City players on the sidelines. Barcelona had a commanding 5-0 win over Antwerp in the UEFA Champions League group stage. Joao Felix scored for Barca in the 11th minute. Robert Lewandowski contributed with a goal in the 19th. That's just 3 minutes later. One of Antwerp's defenders scored an own goal, adding to their woes. In the second half, Gavi netted the ball in the 54th. Then Felix scored for the second time in the 66th minute as Barcelona secured an easy win. French giants PSG beat Germany's Borussia Dortmund 2-0 in their group stage game. Striker Kylian Mbappe scored on a penalty in the 49th minute. Ashraf Hakimi delivered the second goal for PSG in the 58th minute. AC Milan drew 0-0 with Newcastle United in their Champions League bout. Despite firing 9 shots at the goal, Milan failed to put the ball in the net. Meanwhile, things got ugly between fans of the two teams. Italian police say one Newcastle United fan was attacked and stabbed by 7 to 8 AC Milan fans. Officials have opened an investigation and are looking for the suspects. Things turned ugly in the stands of yesterday's National Football League match in the US. A brawl broke out between fans during the New England Patriots and Miami Dolphins game. A father of 2 died after being punched and hitting his head on the ground as he fell. The fan, who's Dale Mooney, had not skipped a single Patriots home game in the last 30 years. Massachusetts police officials have launched an investigation and are searching for the suspect. For the first time ever, a Moto GP race will be held in India. However, some top riders are facing visa issues, which has delayed their arrival. World number 5, the Aprilia rider Alex Espargaro is facing a delay in getting his visa. Honda Spanish rider Marc Marquez is also facing a delay. Organizers say the delays have been caused by technical issues. The Moto GP race will be held at the Buddh International Circuit in Greater Noida, which is near India's capital, New Delhi. The race is on the 24th of September. Moving to entertainment, American-Australian actor Nicole Kidman is auctioning a Zoom meeting for more than $1,000 to help raise funds for Hollywood writers and actors who are currently on strike. Comedian Rachel Bloom is offering a virtual coffee session. Funds raised from these activities will be channelized to help striking actors and writers. The Hollywood strike has been ongoing since May 2023. American model Haydee Montag has revealed that she underwent 10 plastic surgeries at the age of 23 that almost took her life. Montag was allegedly also given an incorrect dosage of painkillers. She said, and I quote, "I wasn't even in a place to film." The surgeries included chin reduction, brow reduction, and brow liposuction. These surgeries can lead to complications if not done under proper medical care. American actor Mark Wahlberg has hinted towards ending his acting career. He said, and I quote, "I don't think that I'll be acting that much longer at the pace I am now." Wahlberg also expressed his wish to become a director in the near future. The actor is known for his roles in the Transformers franchise. Trouble is piling up for comedian Russell Brand. In the latest, Brand's promoters have postponed his live gigs. Meanwhile, YouTube suspended monetization on Russell Brand's channel. This comes after multiple women accused him of rape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse. British police say they received another sexual assault allegation against the comedian. Brand has denied all these allegations. Actor Matthew Scott has revealed that he had to go for conversion therapy and shock therapy after he came out as gay. In a podcast, Scott said that he was 18 years old when he told his parents that he was gay. His parents apparently made him attend 3 hours of conversion therapy every week. Actor Stephen Fry has revealed that his voice from the Harry Potter audiobooks was taken by an artificial intelligence software and was replicated without consent. He said that when he got to know about this, he sent it to his agents, who also had no idea that such a thing was possible. Fry added, and I quote, "It won't be long until full deep-fake videos are just as convincing." Fry calls himself a proud member of SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA is a Hollywood actors union that is currently on strike, demanding higher pay and protection from the US use of AI. American actor Bijou Phillips has filed for divorce from her husband and actor Danny Masterson. This comes after Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison over rape. Phillips asked for the custody of their daughter and asked a court to arrange for spousal support. The couple had gotten married in the year 2011. Actor Kevin Costner and designer Christine Baumgartner have finally settled their divorce after a long battle. In the latest statement, the duo said they came to an amicable and mutually agreed upon resolution. The couple is separating after 18 years of marriage. Baumgartner filed for a divorce from Costner in May this year over irreconcilable differences. Actor Sylvester Stallone has described himself as the last of the dinosaurs. He used these words while reflecting on his career in the entertainment industry and how he survived amid an evolving cinematic landscape. He said, and I quote, "Society is changing. The commerciality in cinema is faster, so longevity would become a premium." Sylvester Stallone made the statement during the world premiere of his biographical documentary called Sly. Rapper Travis Scott was questioned by authorities over a crowd surge at his Astroworld Festival in 2021. Travis Scott faced 8 hours of intense questioning in Houston in the US. The rapper is facing a series of lawsuits over this controversy. The festival, held 2 years ago, witnessed a crowd surge that left at least 10 people dead and numerous injured.